Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison sat alone in the common area, a position he'd grown accustomed to over 3 months. The joint human-Zenthari facility was supposed to foster cooperation. Instead, it reinforced every prejudice both sides brought. The incident 2 months ago, a Zenthari extremist targeting humans. Jake defended himself and 2 others, subduing the attacker with force that left the Zenthari hospitalized. Self-defense, the inquiry ruled. But Zenthari personnel saw only a human who hurt one of their own. Now they avoided him. Human personnel, uncomfortable with tension, mostly avoided him too. So Jake sat alone during off-duty hours, pretending isolation didn't sting. Then Commander Lyssa Veyn walked in. Zenthari military elite, decorated officer, distinctive silver skin and neural crest markings. Jake had seen her from distance, competent, respected, professional. She surveyed the room. 20 personnel scattered across tables. Her fellow Zenthari watched expectantly. Humans glanced away. Every seat had options. Empty tables. Groups with space. Unspoken rule. Humans with humans, Zenthari with Zenthari, Jake Morrison alone. Lyssa walked directly to Jake's table and sat across from him. The room went silent. A Zenthari officer called out. Jake's translator rendered it. "Commander, you don't have to," Lyssa responded without turning. "I choose where I sit." Then she looked at Jake. "Lieutenant Commander Morrison, may I join you?" Every eye watched. Jake saw calculation, courage, curiosity. "It's a free station. Sit wherever you want." "Good, because I'm tired of letting fear dictate my choices." They sat in silence 10 minutes. The room gradually returned to normal volume, though glances continued. Finally, Lyssa spoke without looking up. "They told me you were dangerous, that you attacked one of our personnel unprovoked, that humans can't be trusted around Zenthari. And you believed them?" "I read the incident report. All of them, inquiry, statements, evaluations. You defended yourself and 2 others from someone who brought a weapon with intent to kill." She looked up. "Self-defense isn't assault, regardless of species. Your people don't seem to agree. Some of my people let prejudice override facts. Unfortunately, that's not unique to Zenthari." She paused. "I'm told you sit alone most meals." "True." Jake considered lying, chose honesty. "Yeah, defending yourself from Zenthari makes you problematic to Zenthari. Hurting one, even in self-defense, makes you uncomfortable to humans wanting good relations. So I'm radioactive to everyone. That's remarkably unfair. That's politics. Politics is often another word for cowardice." Lyssa's bluntness surprised Jake. "You might not want to be seen with me, Commander. Your people look unhappy." "Let them be unhappy. I'm tired of segregation masquerading as cultural sensitivity. We're supposed to be building alliance, not maintaining separate cafeterias." She met his eyes. "Why did you defend yourself the way you did? Zenthari are more fragile than humans. You could have used less force." He had plasma cutter aimed at Lieutenant Park's throat. "I had 2 seconds before he cut her carotid. Less force meant she died." Jake's voice was flat. "I did what training dictated. Subdue threat, protect vulnerable. And you do it again? Every time." Lyssa nodded slowly. "Good, then they're wrong about you." "They?" "Everyone who says you're dangerous. You're not dangerous. You're dangerous to threats. There's a difference." Over following weeks, Lyssa continued sitting with Jake. Their conversations ranged from tactics to cultural differences to terrible station coffee. Other personnel noticed. Some Zenthari confronted Lyssa privately. She brushed off concerns. "I choose associations based on character, not species politics." Human personnel were slower to warm, but curiosity eventually overrode discomfort. Lieutenant Park joined them, then others. Slowly, invisible barriers began cracking. One evening, Jake asked what bothered him since that first day. "Why'd you do it?" "Sitting with me, you knew it'd cause problems." Lyssa considered carefully. "Because I value courage over comfort. Because segregation becomes norm through small choices to stay separate. Because..." She paused. "Because I've read your file, your entire record. You've worked with 4 species, learned 3 languages, requested joint operations repeatedly. You didn't take this posting because you had to. You took it because you believe in what it represents. And sitting with me demonstrates that. It demonstrates I believe in it too, that I'll challenge my own people's prejudices as much as human ones." She met his eyes. "And honestly, I was curious about the human everyone warned against. Wanted to see if you were the monster they claimed or the person evidence suggested. And neither. You're just someone trying to do his job in impossible circumstances, like most of us. 6 months after Lyssa first sat beside Jake, station commander called them both to his office. You two have caused considerable disruption, Admiral Kethais began. Jake tensed. Lyssa sat calmly. Disruption to segregation patterns, yes, sir, Lyssa responded. Disruption to morale, no, sir. Cross-species cooperation increased 40% since we began our association. Your friendship, you mean? Kethais looked at them both. You're aware personnel gossip constantly? We're aware, sir. And you continue anyway. Is there a regulation against friendship across species, sir? Jake asked. No, there should be one encouraging it. Kethais smiled slightly. You're both being considered for Joint Tactical Command, leading mixed human Zenthari units. Interested? They exchanged glances. Yes, sir, simultaneously. The position became reality. Jake and Lyssa led mixed species teams, implementing training forcing cooperation. Not smooth. Centuries of mistrust don't vanish because two officers are friends, but progress. Their partnership became model others studied. Not romantic, they were clear about boundaries. But genuine friendship built on respect, shared values, willingness to challenge prejudices. 2 years after that first moment, they coordinated planetary defense during genuine crisis, hostile force attacking colony world. In Command Center, Jake and Lyssa worked with seamless communication of people who'd learned to read each other. When crisis ended successfully, Admiral Kethais addressed both fleets. Today we saw what's possible when we choose cooperation over fear. This is the future we must build. Later, quiet moment, Lyssa said. Remember that first day? How could I forget? You caused minor diplomatic incident. I caused people to question assumptions. There's a difference. She smiled. Do you regret it? Do you? I asked first. Jake considered. No, being alone was easier. Being your friend has been better. Agreed. Years later, historians examining human Zenthari integration pointed to policy changes, agreements, initiatives. But those who were there remembered differently. They remembered a Zenthari commander who walked across invisible line to sit beside a human everyone avoided. Who chose curiosity over fear, courage over comfort, connection over isolation. That choice, simple, quiet, profound, rippled outward, changed conversations, shifted perspectives, proved revolution sometimes starts with sitting beside someone you've been told to avoid. Their friendship became foundation for broader changes. Mixed units became standard. Cultural exchange programs expanded. The segregation that seemed natural gradually revealed itself as choice, one that could be changed. Jake and Lyssa continued serving together, their partnership proof that species difference didn't preclude genuine connection. They faced challenges, incidents where old prejudices surfaced, moments where integration seemed impossible. But they'd built foundations strong enough to weather storms. Trust earned through consistent choice, respect demonstrated through action, friendship proven through years of choosing each other as colleagues and friends despite pressure to stay separate. When Jake eventually retired, ceremony included both human and Zenthari honors. Lyssa, now Admiral Veyn, gave commendation. Lieutenant Commander Morrison changed this facility by refusing to accept isolation as inevitable. But I learned something that first day I sat beside him. Courage isn't absence of fear. It's choosing connection despite fear. She looked at Jake. Thank you for being worth the choice. Jake responded simply, thank you for making it. Their story became teaching example in integration programs. How small choices accumulate, how courage can look like simply sitting beside someone, how friendship can bridge divides that policy cannot. But for Jake and Lyssa, it was simpler. They'd been two officers trying to do their jobs in impossible circumstances. One had been isolated by incident beyond his control. One had decided isolation was unacceptable. She'd walked across a room, chosen a seat everyone said to avoid, and started conversation everyone said was dangerous. That choice, to sit beside him, had changed everything. Not because it was grand gesture, because it was consistent one. Day after day, choosing friendship over fear, connection over comfort, courage over conformity. The warnings had been clear, stay away from him. The pressure had been real. The easier choice had been obvious, but Lyssa had looked at her options, at a human sitting alone, at the fear keeping